procurement reform will promote accountability, restore public trust, says NEFGAD. The Network for the Actualization of Social Growth and Viable Development, NEFGAD, has commended President Bola Tinubu for approving a sweeping reform of public procurement thresholds for federal ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs. In a statement issued in Abuja on Friday, Akingunola Omoniyi, NEFGAD's country head of office, described the move as bold and visionary. He said the reform shows a clear commitment to transparency, efficiency, and decentralization by the president. Omoniyi added that the restructuring of contract approval limits across the Federal Executive Council, FEC, ministerial and parastatal tender boards, and accounting officers would help streamline the procurement process and reduce delays. He stressed that this would enable faster decision-making, reduce bureaucratic bottlenecks, and allow the FEC to refocus on critical national policy issues rather than routine administrative approvals. This decision aligns with NEFGAD's long-standing advocacy for the unbundling of contract approval thresholds, which have historically placed disproportionate approval powers in the hands of the Federal Executive Council, an organ that should primarily be concerned with policy direction, not contract approvals. The statement reads. Omoniyi also praised the president's focus on transparency, especially the requirement for MDAs to publish monthly procurement reports on their websites and the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, portal. He said this reform would promote accountability and strengthen public trust in government institutions. NEFGAD welcomed the Nigeria First policy, which prioritizes local goods and contractors, describing the initiative as a strategic step to boost the local economy and empower indigenous businesses. Omoniyi also applauded the decision to mandate the use of BPP-accredited trainers for procurement training, saying it would deepen capacity and professionalism in public service. This is the kind of leadership that drives meaningful development and restores public confidence in governance, he noted, describing the reforms as a landmark step towards a more inclusive and efficient procurement system that puts Nigeria's interests first. Explosion rocks Port Harcourt filling station. Injures 5. Driver and pregnant wife escape. A devastating explosion struck the cooking gas section of the Nobpet fueling station, located opposite the Air Force Junction in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, on Friday. The incident left at least 5 people injured and caused extensive damage to more than 8 vehicles. Eyewitnesses reported that the explosion occurred suddenly, engulfing the station in flames. Emergency responders from the Rivers State Fire Service and the Nigerian Air Force Fire Service quickly intervened, bringing the blaze under control and preventing further spread. One of the survivors, Emmanuel Ninyaegwu, a commercial driver, narrated how he and his pregnant wife narrowly escaped the blast. Ninyaegwu recounted that he was preparing his 18-seater bus for a trip when he heard a sudden burst of fire. Though he managed to flee, his vehicle was completely destroyed and he sustained injuries to his ear. Another victim, Anthony Ofoke, revealed that he lost 2 vehicles to the inferno, a bus and a Sienna. Ofoke described the explosion as a catastrophic event, expressing his shock and calling on authorities to regulate the siting of fueling stations near residential areas. The state police spokesperson, Grace Irinjekoko, confirmed the incident, adding that investigations are ongoing to determine the cause of the explosion. This tragedy marks the 3rd major oil facility-related explosion in Rivers State within a week, following similar incidents in Ogoni, Oga, Egbema, Endoni, and Akuku Toru local government areas. Chelsea defeat sparks fresh criticism of Man United boss Ruben Amorim. Manchester United's struggles continued on Friday night as they slumped to their 18th Premier League defeat of the season, losing 1-0 to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The loss has intensified criticism of manager Ruben Amorim, with public commentator and NIJ lecturer Jai Johnson openly questioning his leadership. Johnson, a longtime Manchester United supporter, expressed his disappointment on social media, stating that Amorim has failed to make any visible impact since his appointment in November 2024. There's no evidence of coaching. It feels like a group of strangers playing together every week. No clear tactics, no progress in 6 months, Johnson lamented. Despite being on the verge of UEFA Champions League qualification through the Europa League final against Tottenham, United's domestic form has been abysmal. The club now sits 16th on the EPL table, enduring an 8-game winless streak in the league, their worst run since 1990. In his post-match interview, Amorim acknowledged, "Muswen backs jam register amid UTMI technical glitches." The Muslim Ummah of southwest Nigeria, Muswen, has expressed strong support for Professor Ishaq Oloyede, Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, following recent technical issues that disrupted parts of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. In a statement signed by Muswen President Alhaji Rasaki Oladejo and Executive Secretary Professor Musli Tayo Yahya, the group urged the public to remain calm and avoid unfair criticism of JAMB's leadership. They emphasized that while the technical glitches were unfortunate, they should not undermine Professor Oloyede's credibility or dedication. Muswen commended Oloyede's consistent efforts in reforming JAMB, highlighting his achievements in restoring public trust, improving operational efficiency, remitting billions to government coffers, and using technology to ensure transparent examinations. The group called on stakeholders, media, civil society, and policymakers to resist the urge to scapegoat public officials for temporary setbacks, warning against playing into the hands of cynics who aim to weaken public institutions. In the spirit of fairness, we advocate for constructive engagement and support for JAMB's ongoing reforms. Professor Oloyede deserves commendation for his proven track record, not condemnation over isolated technical challenges, the statement read. Muswen concluded by praying for Allah's guidance and protection for all public servants committed to Nigeria's development. Nigeria secures early victory in legal battle to overturn $15 million UK judgment. The Nigerian government has recorded an important win in its efforts to overturn a $15 million default judgment awarded to British Nigerian businessman Louis Emobira Williams by a UK court in 2018. Justice Henshaw of the High Court of Justice, Business and Property Courts of England and Wales dismissed an application by Mr. Williams seeking to strike out Nigeria's claim. The ruling, delivered on April 30, 2025, allows Nigeria's challenge to proceed, marking a significant step in its bid to overturn the judgment. The case stems from a long-standing dispute over an undercover operation in 1986, which Mr. Williams alleges led to the unlawful freezing of funds linked to Pearl Consults Limited, a company he represented. He claims the Nigerian government's actions resulted in personal financial losses of $6.5 million and 5 million naira, respectively. Central to Mr. Williams' claims is a controversial document known as the Fidelity Guarantee, allegedly signed by former President Ibrahim Babangida in 1993, directing the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to release the disputed funds. However, Nigerian authorities have challenged the document's authenticity, describing it as fraudulent and fabricated. The Nigerian government and former Attorney General Clement Akpambo argued that the 2018 judgment was obtained through fraudulent misrepresentation and misleading documentation. They maintained that Mr. Williams's claim is based on false documents and that there was no personal guarantee, no banker's drafts, and no financial loss to him. Mr. Williams, on the other hand, contended that Nigeria's current challenge was an abuse of court process, as the allegations were known prior to the 2016 proceedings but were not raised. Justice Henshaw disagreed, stating that Nigeria's claim was legitimate and not abusive, as it involved serious allegations of fraud that had not yet been fully examined. He emphasized that the claimant's case appeared strong and deserved to be heard at trial. The claimant's claim is not abusive and should be allowed to continue. Dr. Williams' application will therefore be dismissed, the judge ruled. This decision represents a preliminary but crucial victory for Nigeria as it continues its legal efforts to set aside the $15 million judgment. Nigeria attracts global investors as Commonwealth showcases upstream reforms in London. At the 2025 Africa Energy Summit in London, Ngr Gibenga Komolafe, CEO of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, highlighted Nigeria's successful upstream sector reforms, which are boosting investor confidence and production growth. Komolafe emphasized three pillars driving the transformation: transparent licensing rounds, access to quality subsurface data, and regulatory reforms under the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA. He revealed an ambitious data acquisition project, including over 11,000 square kilometers of 3D seismic data from the Awale project, and the role of Nigeria's National Data Repository in enhancing investor due diligence. Under President Bola Tinubu's administration, policy adjustments have lowered entry barriers and improved fiscal terms, making Nigeria a more attractive investment destination. The number of active rigs has risen from 8 in 2021 to 36 today, with expectations to hit 50 by year-end. Nigeria holds Africa's largest gas reserves, 210.54 trillion cubic feet, and significant oil reserves, 37.28 billion barrels. The NUPRC's Project 1 million barrels per day initiative has boosted production from 1.46 million barrels per day in October 2024 to 1.78 million currently. Komolafe stressed ongoing efforts to optimize production, address infrastructure challenges, and leverage Nigeria's youthful workforce for innovation and sustainable growth. He concluded by inviting global investors to participate in Nigeria's expanding and increasingly transparent upstream oil and gas sector, positioning the country as a key player in Africa's energy future. Maha Otu, Betwinner, a new vision for iGaming in Africa. Maha Otu, the youngest director in Nigeria's iGaming industry and a female leader in a male-dominated space, shares her unconventional journey from industrial chemistry graduate to iGaming director at Betwinner. Rising quickly since joining in 2020, she now mentors young women to address gender disparities in Africa's iGaming sector. Committed to lifelong learning, Maha earned an MBA in 2023 and emphasizes the diverse opportunities within iGaming for people from varied backgrounds. Her vision includes fostering innovation, ethical decision-making, and player safety to help the African market thrive. She highlights Africa's emerging sports betting market, especially Nigeria's potential due to its sporting heritage and rapid economic growth. Maha advocates empowering women and young talent across the continent, actively mentoring through Women in Gaming Africa, a network promoting female voices and leadership. Maha celebrates the iGaming industry as one that values individual perspectives, enabling risk-taking and growth, and expresses pride in the supportive community of women working to reshape the sector. Tinubu seeks more collaboration with traditional rulers. President Bola Tinubu emphasized the vital role of traditional institutions in Nigeria's development during a meeting with Oba Abimbola Owodede Semsam, the 46th Alaafin of Oyo, and other traditional rulers at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Tinubu congratulated the Alaafin on his historic ascendancy and praised his commitment to upholding Yoruba culture and traditions. He highlighted that both his presidency and the Alaafin's kingship are divinely ordained and acknowledged the challenges faced in assuming these roles. The president affirmed his administration's dedication to working with traditional leaders to implement policies that improve citizens' livelihoods, stressing the importance of peace, inclusiveness, education, and healthcare. The Alaafin pledged the Traditional Council's support for the president's agenda, praising his leadership and reforms in economy, infrastructure, social welfare, youth empowerment, security, and agriculture. He called for collaboration between modern governance and ancient wisdom, affirming readiness from Oyo, the Yoruba people, and Nigerians to back the president's vision for justice, equity, and inclusive progress. 10 people to watch in Nigeria's edtech sector in 2025. Nigeria's edtech ecosystem is rapidly growing, driven by visionary entrepreneurs addressing educational challenges with innovative solutions. As of 2025, these 10 individuals are set to redefine learning experiences across Nigeria and beyond. Ugochukwu Nkwocha, 9 Jakode Kids. Founder of 9 Jakode Kids Academy, providing coding and robotics education to children aged 4 to 16, with over 5,000 students trained. Sam Emmanuel, Africa, leads Africa, a tech training and coaching platform preparing Nigerians for tech careers, leveraging his corporate experience at Oracle, SAP, and Teradata. Ope Bukola, Kibo School. Co-founder and CEO of Kibo School, offering online STEM degree programs for African students. Former product lead for Google Classroom. Nathan Nwachukwu, Class. Co-founder of Class, building an ecosystem for independent educators, often referred to as the Shopify for online teaching, with plans for global expansion. Chukwuwezam Obanor, Prep Class. Founder of Prep Class, aiming to enhance its tutor-student matching algorithms for personalized learning at scale. Osai Izedonwen Tisas, founder of Tisas, focusing on early childhood education in indigenous languages to preserve cultural heritage while enhancing learning outcomes. Emmanuel Ifosa Ago, Bubble Quiz, creator of Bubble Quiz, an AI-powered gamified platform for JAMB exam preparation, revolutionizing test readiness with engaging learning experiences. Dimeji Falana, Edviz, founder of Edviz, a school management platform enhancing administrative efficiency with plans to incorporate advanced student performance analytics. Godwin Benson, Tutoria, founder of Tutoria, expanding his tutoring platform into a skills marketplace connecting learners with academic and vocational instructors. Ojugo Uche, Genti Media, CEO of Genti Media, an audio platform promoting African stories and educational materials in native languages, advocating cultural preservation through technology. The future of Nigerian EdTech. These innovators are leading Nigeria's educational transformation through AI personalization, gamification, administrative optimization, and cultural relevance. Their work is democratizing quality education and preparing the next generation for the digital global economy. With growing investments and tech adoption, Nigeria's EdTech sector is poised to become a benchmark for educational innovation in Africa. Ondo court orders remand of man over alleged murder of businessman. Akure, May 16, 2025. An Ondo State Magistrate Court sitting in Akure has ordered the remand of Wahid Afolabi, a 34-year-old man, in connection with the alleged murder of a prominent businessman, Abdul Salam Awoyinka, and threats made against his family. The tragic incident occurred in March 2025, when Awoyinka was shot dead by unidentified gunmen at his residence in Ore, Odigbo local government area, shortly after attending prayers at a local mosque. The murder sparked outrage in the community, leading to an intensive investigation by the Ondo State Police Command. Following weeks of investigation, Afolabi was apprehended and subsequently charged to court on multiple counts including murder, threat to life, fraud, and criminal conversion. Details of the charges. During the court proceedings, the prosecutor, Nelson Akintimihin, informed the court that the accused had on March 1, 2025, at approximately 9 p.m., allegedly shot the deceased in the chest, leading to his death. Furthermore, on March 15, 2025, Afolabi reportedly threatened the deceased's widow, Alhaja Morufat Awoyinka, and her children, demanding the sum of 4 million naira. He allegedly warned them of further harm, claiming he would inflict the same fate on them as he did her husband if his demands were not met. The prosecution also accused Afolabi of fraudulently obtaining 1.5 million naira from the family, which he allegedly converted for personal use. Legal proceedings and court ruling. The charges against Afolabi are in violation of sections 319, 86, 419, 393, and 390 of the Criminal Code, Cap 37, Volume 1, Laws of Ondo State of Nigeria, 2006. Though the accused pleaded not guilty, the presiding magistrate, O. Omotosho, noted that the magistrate court lacked jurisdiction to entertain the murder charge. Consequently, the court upheld the prosecutor's request to remand Afolabi at the Olokuta Correctional Center pending further legal advice from the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP. In her ruling, Magistrate Omotosho directed the police to duplicate the case file and forward it to the state DPP for review and further action. The matter was then adjourned until July 10, 2025 for continuation. Commitment to justice. This development underscores the determination of Ondo State's law enforcement and judiciary to ensure that justice is served. The case has attracted significant public attention, particularly in Ore and surrounding communities, as residents call for swift justice for the slain businessman. In a related development, the Nigeria Police Force recently refuted claims regarding the remand status of another confessed killer, Ayomide Adele, emphasizing the need for verified information in ongoing criminal cases. Finland charges Simon Ekpa with terrorism. Abuja, May 16, 2025. Finnish authorities have officially charged Simon Ekpa, a Finnish-Nigerian dual citizen and factional leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, with terrorism-related offenses. Ekpa is accused of inciting violence in Nigeria's southeast region through his online activities. According to the Finnish National Bureau of Investigation, NBI, Ekpa allegedly used social media to spread terrorist propaganda, which they claim contributed to violent incidents in southeastern Nigeria. His actions have been linked to the enforcement of unlawful sit-at-home orders that have disrupted lives and businesses in the region. Ekpa was arrested in November 2024 and is currently held at Kilmakoski prison in Finland as investigations continue. Extradition request from Nigeria. The Nigerian government has expressed its readiness to seek ECPA's extradition to face terrorism charges on Nigerian soil. Nigerian officials assert that his incitements have had direct consequences on security and stability in the country, making his prosecution a matter of national importance. The Nigerian army has lauded the development, considering ECPA's arrest and prosecution a significant step forward in the fight against terrorism and insurgency in the southeast. Legal proceedings in Finland. In the ongoing legal process, ECPA has appointed Karli Gumerus, a Finnish attorney, to represent him. Gumerus is currently reviewing the pre-trial case file and preparing the defense. The case has garnered international attention, sparking broader conversations about the impact of digital platforms on political activism and the responsibilities of individuals in leadership positions, especially those with large followings online. Nigeria needs resilient economy to withstand global shocks. Benjamin Kalu. Abuja, May 16, 2025. Benjamin Kalu, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, has emphasized the need for Nigeria to develop a resilient economy capable of withstanding global economic shocks. Kalu made this statement on Thursday while receiving a delegation from the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, led by its Director General, Adeni Adeyemi. Kalu urged the Council to collaborate with the House of Representatives in formulating robust policies aimed at advancing Nigeria's national interests and fostering both regional and international peace and prosperity. I encourage you to focus on building resilient economies that can withstand global fluctuations, while also investing in partnerships that enhance our influence and support, Kalu said. Promoting foreign investments and economic stability. Kalu stressed the importance of according foreign partners the same opportunities as local businesses, in line with the Foreign Investment Protection Act, which ensures legal safeguards, transparency, and equitable treatment. He highlighted these as essential pillars for fostering trust and confidence among international. IMF's projection of a 3.3% economic growth for Nigeria in 2025, despite global challenges. Kalu pointed to positive indicators, including Fitch Ratings, upgrading Nigeria's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating, IDR, from B- to B, with a stable outlook. Legislative support for economic growth. Kalu underlined the National Assembly's role in shaping the nation's economic environment through its lawmaking and oversight functions. He cited the passage of tax reform bills as a key influence and reiterated the House's commitment to enacting legislation that promotes sustainable economic growth and strengthens agricultural development. Council seeks legislative collaboration. In response, Adeyemi described the National Assembly as a strategic partner in achieving the Tinubu administration's economic agenda. He emphasized the need for close collaboration between the Council and the Legislature to build a resilient Nigerian economy. The cost of distrust in Nigeria's growth story. When a society spends more energy fortifying yesterday's gains than experimenting with tomorrow's ideas, growth inevitably stalls. In Lagos, it's easy to see this paradox. On a quiet street, a gardener rakes leaves outside a fenced compound. Behind him, rose bushes bloom, but the steel lattice of the fence says more than the flowers ever could. It reflects an invisible deficit, a chronic shortage of social trust. This trust gap has real economic consequences. In Nigeria, fences, guards, and notarized documents are everyday expenses in a low-trust society, draining capital and stifling innovation. Only 14% of Nigerians believe most people can be trusted. one of the lowest rates globally. Trust is the engine of innovation. Without it, deals stall, investors hesitate, and ideas wither. Nigeria ranks 109th out of 132 countries on the Global Innovation Index, trailing smaller nations like Kenya and Rwanda. The hidden trust tax slows progress, from escrow accounts to duplicated warehouses and cumbersome bank negotiations. Even as digital wallets like Paga and MoneyPoint rise, providing trust through code, institutional shortcomings hold back broader gains. Unlike Kenya's M-Pesa success, Nigeria's innovators face slow courts, opaque tenders, and unreliable infrastructure. But there's a path forward. A trust-driven growth strategy could focus on three things: faster legal processes, radical transparency in governance, and civic spaces that foster cooperation. History shows that once credible institutions model fairness, trust can renew, just like during Nigeria's Charn-Ensars movement and the digital payment revolution that followed. Nigeria's next growth spurt won't come from another tech hub ribbon cutting. It will grow from the quiet, deliberate work of rebuilding trust in minds, in institutions, and eventually in the very streets of Lagos. Because when trust flourishes, fences come down, and with them, the barriers to Nigeria's true potential.